This is Rick Latona. This is the open house for concertboom.com, and I'm joined by Kushiar Azimian, and I made a mistake. I had my mute button on when I first started this. I apologize, everybody. Kushiar, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Rick, for having me, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right, great. Well, let's get into this. I'm going to start out by doing a little bit of housekeeping. For those of you who can't hear, hopefully you can read these instructions and learn how to participate in the audio. Any questions that anybody has during this presentation, if you use the GoToWebinar tool to send me the questions, I will ask them to Kushiar either immediately if it's really important, or I will wait until we get to the section of the presentation that the question is relevant, or I will ask it at the end of the presentation, or if it's inappropriate, I may not ask it. So with that, I'm going to take a slightly different approach on this open house than we have done on the ones in the past. This is a different type of property. We're dealing with a very high growth asset here, and it needs to be looked at differently. So I want to start out by pointing out the elephant in the room, something that everybody's going to see when they go to take a look at this transaction, and that is this annual profit figure of $107,000, and with a $2.5 million asking price, why is Latona representing this site? Some people may ask themselves. Well, if you look at the growth projection of the revenue, you can see how this thing, in October of 2011 was essentially doing nothing, and about in the high 20s, almost $30,000 last month, just 9 months later. So I wanted to start the presentation by talking about that, so people don't think we're crazy, and then with that we'll kind of let Kushiar do some talking and get to hear about the site itself. So Kushiar, please do us a favor and tell us about the history of concertboom.com.
Sure. So let me to start, maybe the best thing is to share with you how our usual visitors come to the website and how they proceed, maybe, and then I go ahead and talk about the history. So if you want to feel like one of our average visitors, you can just go to Google and search, let's say, San Diego concerts 2012. So that's a very common phrase that people from San Diego search. Or you can search Italy concerts 2012, or France concerts, or Europe concerts. And for most of these phrases, we show up number 1, or at very worst case scenario, number 3 or 4 in Google. So, and then you go to the website and you see a very clean and simple interface that gives you all the concerts in that city, all the sorted by artist, sorted by band, sorted by genre, sorted by city and geo and everything. So we'll get to that. So as for the history, I started this website in mid-2011. So it was just a side project for me. I started, and a few months after I started this project, I joined an advertising company as a data scientist, so I didn't have much time to work on it. So I was working a few hours a week on the data engine, and I think almost at the end of 2011, the engine was kind of ready, so we could pull up all the data from the internet, from different sources, and put it online. And then the visitors just, I have a 3-4 years background in SEO, so the SEO of website I think is very okay. So basically starting I think late 2011 and more early 2012, we started to get more and more traffic, and we reached more than 1 million unique visitors per month just 2 months ago.
So in your reselling tickets, right? What exactly is that? Who are the parties involved?
The website has basically two let's say products. One is like giving information about the dates of the concerts and location. The other thing is reselling the tickets. The way the reselling works is we're partnering with Ticket Network, which is basically the biggest exchange of ticket reselling. We get the tickets through the API, and then we put it online, and then we never hold any tickets, so basically there is no, we can't lose any money. Whatever number, any ticket or any transaction that happens through our site, we get a 15% rev share. That number that's basically minimum in the industry. We can put 25%, we can put between 15 to 25%. And we went with the lowest one because we just want to keep the visitors happy. That's the general approach in this site. So 15%, and then we are giving back 3% of that to the Ticket Network.
Okay.
So basically, if you click on any concert that has a ticket, if you go to the page, you see a ticket button, you click on the button, and then you go to the transaction page. It's a very simple model.
Okay. Now, when you and I have talked in the past, you told me that you built software that aggregates this data and builds these pages, and that's been a big part of your growth strategy. Can you share with everybody as much as you're comfortable sharing? I mean, I know you don't want to give away all your secrets on this call, but just kind of a 30,000-foot overview.
Sure. So the way this works, basically, I think I'm in first a data scientist, so I'm good at going to different APIs, different websites, crawl the web, and do all these things and bring all the information and aggregate. The way this project in particular works, we connect to Facebook API, we connect to Ticket Network API, we connect to every other API that is available, including Spotify, including GrooveShock, all the music APIs, to get all the necessary information about the artist, about the pictures, like biographies, and then the concert list and dates, and then we go crawl the web for everything that's available. The thing is, after we do that, there are a bunch of relevant and irrelevant data that our engine goes through them to make sure this data is accurate, to make sure this data is not redundant, and aggregate all this data to a unique tabular database that then our front-end engine connects to that to basically create the website. So our PHP engine connects to that database at the end to pull up the website.
That's fantastic, and that software, I'm sure it's negotiable, but you're willing to help support the new owner in the transition, I assume.
Sure. First that we talked about selling this, I was thinking maybe I can somehow keep the software for myself, but as you commented, maybe this is unreasonable because this is kind of like a necessity for keeping the website updated. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean the software. It's actually pretty clean, but I'm going to make it very easy to use for the potential buyer, so they can just click a button, generate the data, like a 5-minute work per week probably, and that's it.
Okay. So you have a social strategy, right? You were telling me about this item right here that I'm pointing this arrow at, about the never miss a concert again. Share with the audience what that means.
Sure. So actually, social is very important thing, and it's one of the things that we didn't get that many visitors during the past from social, but it's one of the things that I've been working on it a lot, and I think in next year we're going to get lots of traffic from social. We have basically 3 different like products that works like with Facebook. One of them is our Facebook page, so which has about, I think, 8,000, maybe it's going to, I don't know, it should be more than 8,000 right now. We have 8,000 likes that we broadcast our like concerts with them. That was basically my first approach, which I don't like it that much right now. The second one is put like widget and share widget on the page. That one works pretty good. The third one, which is the most like sophisticated one, and is the thing that I put so much time on it, is our Facebook app. So basically, if you go to apps.facebook.com/concertboom, if you install our Facebook app, you are going to get a weekly feed of the concerts that we think suits you every week. So it's a fantastic thing. I think no other company, including Ticketmaster or Songkick or any other competitors, they don't have such a sophisticated Facebook app. Basically, every week, if you are a Madonna and Adele and let's say a Roger Waters fan, and you live in San Diego, if those guys come to your town or any town near you, you get an update on that on your Facebook page. Or if any other like popular tour comes to your town that week, you get an update. So that's a fantastic tool to like make sure, as our slogan says, never miss a concert.
And it just bases it on their location, right? Because I just had someone ask if it has to do with bands that they've liked on Facebook, or if it's just based on where the.
It's both of them, but usually because the bands that you like, let's say you like 4 bands, it's very unlikely that those 4 bands come to your town every week. So you don't get that many updates on those kind of like bands, but that is part of our engine, and that's something that I put so much time and energy on it, but it's not like released like 100%. I did some tests and like some maybe alpha version, but I want to make it like 100% perfect before like I start doing the campaign. So there are a bunch of these things that I've been working on, and I hope by maybe next few months or starting 2013 we get to like take advantage of those features.
Okay, I have a lot of questions coming in, so I think before we go too much further, I should ask some of these questions. Otherwise, we're going to get backlogged here. So obviously, your programming and all these things that you're doing in this Facebook app, and these are all things that are the reason this has taken off so quick. So, I mean, it's one obvious question that a couple people have already asked is your willingness to stay on board and help.
That's a very I think the whole reason that I might sell this is because I'm thinking of getting a few $1 million like money and start my own startup in next few years. So my goal for my life is to start. I have so many like other ideas, maybe something more general. I mean, I don't want to say I want to create another Google, but maybe that's something in that range is in my mind. And the reason I'm selling this website is to have this like a few $1 million in my pocket so I can invest on next project. Whether I can be on board and help, we can negotiate some agreements that I'll be part of this, and maybe I can help you hire someone who is as good as myself in programming. And
okay, so that's a fine answer. So we'll leave it at it's negotiable and possible. though, so because another similar question that someone asked would be if you would consider taking an investor on.
Yes, I do, but so I have other projects that I think they might be bigger than this. They're in different scopes, and I mean, I take investment, but my evaluation for those projects would be much higher than this.
Okay. Okay, let's get back to the to the software. I'm gonna go back a couple slides before we get too far ahead. On this software that generates the content, is there a human filter that needs to be involved? Do you kind of put your eyes on everything before publishing it?
This is a very, I think, subjective question. So basically, you can run the software and don't do any manual like advising, and it works fine. But let's say you have a very popular tour coming out, like there's a Justin Bieber tour, and the picture that the software put on the internet is not as good as what you want. You can go ahead and manually revise it, put a better picture. So these kind of things I do, but it's not necessary. So there's always I mean, whatever the machine and the bot generates, there might be different than what is perfect in your mind. So this is a very subjective question. So you can always go ahead and manually revise it, but it's not necessary. So the bot can do everything by itself.
Okay. Another question that someone asked says they're just surfing around Concert Boom. They noticed that some tickets are available for sale while others are not. What's the determining factor here? Is it because you're
the factor is, do we have does the exchange that we are working currently with have that ticket available or not? Basically, in future, my goal is to, I mean, right now we are working just with one network. The goal in future could be to connect to maybe 4 or 5 of these networks and affiliation and everything, to have tickets for everything. But right now, as you mentioned, there are just tickets for the concert that are covered by Ticket Exchange network.
Okay, so but they're not asking for any kind of exclusivity.
And no, they're not. They're getting 3% rev share back. So basically, they're paying us. We're paying some of the money back to them. Okay.
All right. So some of these other questions I'm going to come back to at the end. Let's get back over and look at some more some revenue type of stuff. So you sent this screenshot from the ticket network, which I assume is the network you were just talking about that you're reselling the tickets. And this is for the month of July. When I was looking at this, the first thing I noticed was this total ticket network retained, like some kind of retained earnings. What exactly is that?
So basically, the number on the top right says 136,000. So that number is the total value of all the tickets that we sold in months of July. So from that, there are 2 kinds of transaction. There is a common type that 95% of our transactions are from that type. From those type, we keep 80% of. So okay, one more time. 136 is the value of the tickets, and we get 15% share for the common types of tickets. So that 15% is becoming almost 18,000. There are some different kind of concepts that are not very common. So that number becomes 18,000, and from that 18,000, we should give back 3% of the whole thing to the ticket network. So 3% of the 136,000. So that is that number. So we basically end up with 14,000. The 4,000 number is negotiable. I mean, we can talk to Ticket Network and negotiate that number. The 15% number is also negotiable. I mean, we can actually just call them and change 15% to 25%. But we want to keep our visitors happy. And this is something that I talked to you, Rick, so many times, and I think you know that my general approach for this website is not to be very aggressive with monetization. I want to keep the website clean, and I also don't want to get very aggressive for our 2012 campaign. So my main focus is that in 2013 or maybe even 2014, we become the #1 hub for concert information and live music data in the world. So that is the goal. I mean, this money covers my expenses and my life very well, and basically I really don't want to maximize it that much.
Okay.
So my approach is just to keep it simple.
But what about this AdSense revenue screenshot that we're looking at here? It seems all across the board. I think you told me something about how some months you give more inventory to AdSense than other months.
Sure. Basically, in January 2012, the website started picking up. So from that month, as you see, in February we had 3,000, then 9, then 8, then 9. 19 is for a different reason because it's 2 months combined together. So basically 3, 9, 8, 9, 8, 11, 11. So that's the trend. So one thing that I should mention about why this number doesn't go up as much as our traffic go, the reason is because once we got to the point that the money was enough to cover my expenses and I could quit my job, I started like lowering the number of ads on a page. So basically now if you go to any of our pages, like artist pages, this is something that is very unique about our website, and other websites don't even have this technology. So we track you the first time that you come to the website, we show you an ad, but next time if you go to the same page, you're getting our Facebook widget and which is going to be replaced with our Facebook app. So we want to do our own marketing and Facebook and social and other we want to put those things ahead of our monetization strategy.
So you're showing internal advertisements to repeat visitors.
Yes, exactly. We're showing our social campaigns. They're going back and forth. There's a small PHP engine that decides if this is, for example, this is a very sophisticated engine. It says if this visitor is likely to buy a ticket in next few clicks, we don't show him an ad. We just show him the things that might encourage him to buy a ticket. So this is something that I've been working on it. It should be released soon, but you can see some of it on the website.
So so the screen that everybody's looking at right now, on the 24th of November 2011, you didn't have a single visit. Or you didn't have analytics installed. Which was it?
No. That's because the account was not created in that. But it was, comparing to the number of visitors right now, you can say nothing. Probably less than 100 per day.
Right. So it's an incredible amount of growth. I mean, we had someone asked a question a few minutes ago. What makes everybody worried is all the time is about sites that are dependent on Google organic rankings. There's obviously there's no guarantee of keeping it, but what you're doing is working. I mean,
I think this is more of a I personally I've been working on both search engine optimization, and I also worked on a search engine algorithm for a while. I don't think it doesn't concern me that much. I think Google has to bring so that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to show the best website that serves the customer first. And as long as we're the best website, I mean, not necessarily the best website, one of the best website that serves the customer, we don't have to worry about if Google doesn't show us. I mean, this is a guaranteed thing. So as far as we're doing our job okay and better than anybody else, that I can go ahead and talk a little bit that why we're doing it better than other people. We shouldn't worry about that. So basically that traffic is coming. And the more we stay in this business, the people start to like know our brand name, and they keep coming back. And those users actually are even better users. They're coming back to buy tickets next time.
Yeah, this graph right here is over the entire lifespan of the site, so it's possible that the percentage that came from search was smaller in June and July.
Okay, so one thing that is very necessary for me to mention is the kind of visitors for live music events. It's not that our website is mostly from search traffic. This is the nature of the traffic of this industry. If you want to buy concert, this is not something that you do every day. So you basically go to Google and search for concerts. So it's not that you have a certain website that you go to every day. It's just it happens so occasionally, and the search is the main source of the visitors for this industry.
Sure. So I want to show everybody here just this breakdown, because it's always a concern where the traffic's coming from. I mean, all of these countries can afford to buy concert tickets. Even Brazil seems to have all the money in the world these days.
Yeah.
So are you able to? Does the network that you're using, are they able to process transactions in all these countries?
They are, but they're not very active in other countries. That's why I'm thinking of in other countries I should go with another network. As soon as I get some time to work on that, I will. Because right now, I think more than 95% of our ticket reselling revenue is from United States. So that's something that we should work on. Other thing that I should mention is the reason you see this website, unlike some other website, has such a high quality visitors is because I wanted to keep it that way. I tried so hard to kind of, I'm not saying like other countries are not high quality visitors, but I did so many things that basically I don't let anybody to come to our website from searching pictures, or I don't put content that people who tend to just gather information or just for entertaining come to the website. We don't have a video section, we don't have a sound section, and I blocked our media searches. So I did so many things that keep the visitors are very like clean and basically, how do they call it in the industry? The user who are already decided they want to buy something.
Okay. So most people probably recognize this graph. I took it from the site semrush.com. It shows how many keywords you rank for. And again, this incredible growth pattern. You've looks like in July you flirted with 100,000 keywords. Here's just another screenshot that shows the growth of organic search results. and the value of the traffic if you had to buy it. So I want to, so just to keep this moving along, I think we covered a lot of SEO. Um, I wanted to ask you about the expenses that were reported on the listing. I think most people who are going to look at this, they're going to say, okay, $120 a month. That's pretty low expenses for a business doing almost in the $20,000 to $30,000 a month of revenue. So obviously, probably the biggest expense is you. So I guess, and this is one of the questions that someone also sent to me using the GoToWebinar software. What do you think it would cost to hire someone to run this thing if you had to pay them a salary?
Like right now for running this, basically you don't need much. I can teach anybody who is not a computer like savvy person to spend like half an hour a week and to keep this running. But I don't think this is the right approach to deal with this business. I mean, you can basically hire nobody and this thing is going to grow by itself little by little and probably make 300,000 this year, probably 400, 500,000 next year, and then it grows by itself because the Google gives more and more credit every year to the website. But the right approach to deal with this, to basically spend some money, bring some developer, bring some marketing, put some business mind and some business muscle behind this, and take this something that I put a $2.5 million price on it, take it to $20 million next year, and maybe $200 million the year after that. I mean, these numbers maybe sound big, but if you look at this industry, this is a huge industry, and if in 1 year, one person part-time could make this is as one of the like top 5 or top 6 like hubs, maybe in like next 2 years, if somebody put more energy, they can become the number 1. And like I can tell you, like if you look at the numbers, like our like biggest competitor, which is Sunkick, they got just $10 million, I think, funding last year. So, and like I can give you like a list of these like fundings that people in the industry got. So the evaluation is pretty high and the expectation is very high from this industry. This is actually becoming bigger than music selling industry, than recording industry.
Sure, that's because people don't pay for music. But okay, so maybe it'll help answer the question if you answer this question also. But as far as like how much it would cost to hire someone, I mean, tell us about a day-to-day operation. So walk us through a day in running this business.
Basically, you need to load the new data. I would say maybe once a week would be a good like frequency. More than once a week, it doesn't help that much because, I mean, usually the concert information are from like next 6 months or something. So if you do it once a week, you're fine. And you just bring the backend software, click on run, and it takes for the software probably a few hours. I mean, if you run the like more through option, it could get up to 10 hours, but you don't have to sit on the computer. It just runs by itself. I'm saying the time that I spend on the website is for developing like new features and growing the website. It's not for maintaining the website. It's almost no time.
Okay. So I know you've talked about this a lot already, and we want to try to keep this conversation as factual and targeted as possible. So for the site growth and future expectations, we've got the Facebook app. What do you plan on doing like in the next 6 months?
As we talked about this before, Rick, I think I think I keep developing new features, and I also start working on 2013 campaigns, which I already started. But I think my expectation is the website keeps the number of visitors as it has for the next few months until the end of the year. So I don't see any that much growth. But I think after Google grasped all this new development, I think our engine became more accurate, our aggregation became more accurate, and Google will grasp the happiness of our user. We're going to have another jump, I think, starting in 2013. And I think maybe probably next month or 2 months from now, our Facebook will start getting more and more traffic from social, and these two can kind of make each other stronger. Like if we have a good social campaign, it makes our SEO better, and once we get our SEO better, those users are coming to the website and install our app, and then these two start kind of like making each other stronger. This is something that I expect this to give us a very huge boost starting in 2013. But as I said, for next few months, I just want to keep it as it is and just work on the new features. I don't want to put too much energy on just like SEO campaigns.
Okay. So I think you touched on this already too. You wanted to do something even bigger, right? That's why you're selling it?
I mean, Rick, that I wasn't looking for selling, so basically you contacted me. I'm very happy that we work together. So this is a good money for me because I got out of school 2 years ago. I just worked for a year, and this is a big money for me. And I have other projects that I'm thinking about. But if I don't sell it, it's absolutely okay. I can just keep working on it and growing other businesses on top of it, or use this asset to market my other ideas. I think, and the other thing is, so if things goes as well as I expect, so let's say in 2013, I wake up and I say in January, February 2013, instead of 1 million visitors per month, we get to 3 million. I probably won't think about selling it anymore, at least with anything close to this price.
Okay. Well, then we agree on this last side then, because, I spent a lot of time thinking about this particular project, and normally when I do these open houses, I go through and I start doing a net present value on the cash flow and these sorts of things. But, my thoughts are that any deal that's going to happen is going to be a custom deal, between the buyer and you, Koshiar, that that they're going to be, a lot of things are going to be agreed on besides just the dollar amount.
Sure.
The site's revenue is going to have to continue growing. We do this open house is being recorded right now. We're going to put it on your listing, and we're going to be sending it out to investors over the next few months. And I was a little worried about doing an analysis on today's earnings when it's going to be out of date in 2 weeks the way you're growing. So I just want to say that this deal is best suited for experienced investors, and that for those interested, we do have models for valuating businesses on future earnings, and Koshiar is obviously very, very, very open to talk to. So we kind of get into all the numbers in private conversations. So that's all I want to say on this, Koshiar. Okay.
Okay.
So on the questions and answers, I have a few more left. Um, one one gentleman asked if there's any copyright issues with the pictures that the data aggregate brings in. Have you ever had any removal notices?
No, I never had. Uh, mm, I talked to my lawyer and a few people who work with this. There shouldn't be any copyright concern about this, but I mean, we never had any email or any like objections. If we get, I mean, we remove the pictures, but generally because these are the promoters who just want to get their tickets out and who want to sell them as highest price as possible. Nobody cares about the pictures that much. This is just that, I mean, the whole industry is just to sell the tickets with the highest price, and they're happy that we're part of this.
Okay. Um, you said something in the very beginning when we were talking about the percentage that the networks get. Um, some I want someone's asking, were you saying that you're in control of that percentage?
And there are two percentage number. There is one that says what is the fee percentage. That is I have absolute control of. I can just email the guy and he just change it for me for tomorrow.
Oh,
So that
so that basically increases the price that the customer's paying. So
exactly,
that's the fee that you're charging. That's the one you can control.
exactly.
Got it.
So that number, the average is I think more than 20. I think most of the websites charge like 20, 22%. So it could be anything from 15 to 25, maybe even 30. But I even wanted to make it zero. So I don't get any money and just the people keep coming. But the minimum should be 15. The
So
other number, yeah,
what are you charging now?
it's 15%.
15%. Okay, but you could charge 25 or even 30%.
Exactly. I mean, as I said, there are so many like monetization strategies that did not happen for so many reasons. First, because I didn't have that much time. Second, because I'm not a probably good businessman. So I think both in advertising, both ticket selling, and this is an important thing. We can add like an Amazon widget that sells like records on, like if we have an Adele page that, for example, our Adele page has so many visitors every month, we can put a widget in bottom of the pictures that says buy like 21 album. So this is something that I did for a few days and we got a like good number of like hits, but I decided not to do it for a while, but this could be a very good another source of money. I mean, it needs the engine to manage these widgets, but this could be another line of monetization for this website.
Okay. What happens when a concert's canceled? Does it produce a lot of extra work for you? Ticket refunding? You have to...
No, 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 no. We don't sell tickets. That's the beauty of this thing. We don't sell tickets, and we're not responsible for anything that happened to the concert or any problem that. So if you go through the like agreement in the ticket transaction page, you see that it says Concert Boom is not. It's not liable and it's not responsible for anything. So you are buying ticket from a third party. We are just marketing their tickets for them and we're just showing them on the internet. You're getting your email and all the like tickets from a third party. We don't do anything. So I mean, another approach, somebody could want to get to that business and make more money. So that's a good probably line. But as for now, we basically do nothing about that.
Okay. All right. So, I imagine most of these search results all have 2012 in them. So I would imagine in the fourth quarter, I would imagine kind of starting around now, people are already searching for 2013 content
Exactly.
page.
So,
What's your strategy for making sure that you're on top for 2013?
um, so for people who have worked on SEO, they kind of know how this thing works. So our pages, if you look at the URLs, the more important pages, let's say concertboom.com/San Diego, concertboom.com/New York, or concertboom.com/Justin Bieber/tour list, they don't have dates on it. And these pages by themselves, they have value not because of the content, the URL itself, and that web kind of property has a value in Google and in other search engines. So once we change our content for that page and title to 2013, they automatically start getting new evaluation for 2013. It's not like we have to compete with everybody from the first. So those pages, I mean, I already did some tests, and let me see if we got results here. So it seems Google hasn't indexed them yet, but this would be kind of a very smooth transaction. I'm going to start it in next few days. That's why I'm saying we don't want to go after growth in next few months. We want to focus on 2013. But it's, I mean, once we change 2012 to 2013, we get all the credit that we gained in 2012 for those pages, and we pass it to 2013. We're going to be ahead of all the pages that we were ahead of in 2012. So this is how Google authority algorithm works, which is something that kind of replaced the page rank. They're kind of the same thing, but this is the newer version.
Okay, well, I think that everybody should have a pretty good idea of what the site's all about. I know I do, and I thank you very much for your time. And
Thank you.
if there's nothing else to add, we can end it here.
Excuse me?
I said, if you have nothing else to add, we can end it here. Is there any last comments you wanted to make, or?
Sure, no, I'm pretty open to all the, like, if somebody has any other, like, idea, if they think investment is the right thing to go, or if they have different ideas about how we should negotiate this, or anything, or any question, I'm very open. I mean, they can ask it through you, or I'll be very happy to answer. And thank everybody for listening, and thank you, Rick, for organizing this thing.
And thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
later. All right. Goodbye, everybody.